immediate تقريبا will be starting SC yes. الصوت واضح والpresentation برضو ظاهر. Just do a thumbs up أي حاجة write in the chat. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. السلام عليكم يا جماعة كلكم. Hope you are doing all great. كلكم إن شاء الله تكونوا طيبين. Thank you so much for joining us من يعني كل مكان وكل زمان. Thank you so much for this. And this is the session from engineer to founder. حنبداها الليلة معاكم. أنا ألان معز the moderator for this session ومعانا كمان a very amazing mentor الليلة which is Mr. Khalil Liouane. He will be like the panelist for this session أو حنعمل معه interview honestly وحنستفيد شديد من خبرته في حاجات كثيرة. لكن قبل ما نبدأ السيشن دي honestly with our amazing mentor عايزين to share a quick scenario that happens a lot in our minds and عايزاكم تكونوا مركزين معانا شديد في الحاجات الجاية عشان there is an error honestly في السلايدز فعايزينكم to focus to be able to fix it together. والحاجة دي حترجعنا بعدين لحاجات كثيرة لكن let's start and focus. But before we start with this scenario عايزة أقول إنه copyrights for this scenario was from Mr. Khalil Liouane Medium post من Building Wealth Without Losing Yourself. This is it. We have two personalities. The first one is, I will name it Khalil, and the other one is Khalil. تمام. The Khalil one is the creative, passionate one, and Khalil is the rational business. فالسيناريو كان كالتالي. زي كل فكرة بما إنه أصلاً إحنا this is session is also about like the Ideathon coming for ideas into companies or startups. فخلال قال شنو؟ قال إنه هو عايز جاب فكرة بتاعت إنه هو عايز يفتح له مطعم or he is trying to open a restaurant. قام خليل قال له إنه بدي يتساءل قال له إنه يعني why we do need it؟ ليه يعني إحنا محتاجين ليش شنو exactly؟ ليه أنت فكرت كده؟ خليل قام قال له إنه I guess we want to build one or like create one عشان to express our passion for food. إحنا كسودانيين بنحب الأكل شديد وما بس السودانيين لكن معظم الناس بيحبوا الأكل عشان إنه mostly يعني إحنا في السفر الكبيرة الناس بيتجمعوا we bring people together we eat we discuss stuffs. فخليل قال له كده. قام خليل رد عليه وقال له يعني oh I see this is valid and it's interesting idea وأي حاجة لكن بدأ يسأله أسئلة. قال له okay أنت قلت عايز to bring people together لكن how exactly we could bring people together. بدأ يسأله أسئلة تاني ما وقف عند السؤال ده. قلت له how we can monetize this. okay this is an idea وأي حاجة okay how we can monetize this و how we could scale it. okay عايز تعمل مطعم وأي حاجة لكن حتجيب revenue منه كيف حتربح منه كيف تعمل له سكيلينج كيف. اوكي بدينا مطعم يعني افكارك شنو بس نبداه to bring people together وخلاص تجمعوا الناس و that's the end goal بتاعك. ف this is the scenario حقنا وحبينا انه نبدا السيشن ده بالسيناريو ده عشان نكون كلنا مع بعض on the same page. لكن قبل كل حاجة السيناريو ده فيه ايرور. عايزاكم تركزوا معاي في الصورة دي كويس شديد في الانيميشن تركزوا في النيمز تركزوا في text written في أي حاجة عشان نطلع الإيرور. Honestly this is a very simple question لكن I want you to write in the chat حاسين إنه الإيرور ممكن يكون شنو exactly من الصورة دي. فكده let's try to think ونطلع الفاوندرز الجوان والوزول اللي بيحل المشاكل والبروبلم solvers اللي عندنا. ف what do you think about this? Let's drop in the chat شايفين الغلط شنو في الحاجة دي. What do you think? Many the icons many the slide bulb are flipped icons كمان the icons okay I see guys يعني okay really interesting to be honest يعني ما شاء الله تبارك الرحمن. honestly I see like many founders هنا ناس بيطلعوا مشاكل بعدين bring solutions which is honestly yes يعني أنا I tried to manipulate you بالسيناريوز و everything لكن عرفت exactly the error في الحاجات زي كده which is زي ما قلت ال icons should be flipped. The creative passionate one normally معاه ال light bulb وال business oriented دائما إحنا بنكون بيفكر في الموني. That's why خليل كان بيسأل عن إنه يعني how we can monetize this, how we can scale it. this is the one. this was literally the intro حق السيشن ده. فالآن عايزين نبدأ معاكم السيشن from engineer to founders. Another time إنه أنا آلاء المعز, the moderator for this session. I'm very passionate about LLMs research. I'm also dual degree from University of Khartoum here at Watt University. Recent graduate this year, and also I'm one of the main organizers in IndabaX Sudan alongside Sophia. Thank you so much for having Mr. Khalil معانا الليلة. We're so glad to have you. Honestly, الaudience يعني مبسوطين شديد وحيستفيدوا شديد, بالذات لما يجي لقصة Ideathon, submitting their ideas and these things. لكن قبل ما ندي المايك لمستر خليل, our mentor, we want to do a very quick introduction about him. فمستر خليل, honestly, he's a venture builder who he like moved from engineering, who عنده 2 engineering degrees and also عنده 7 years في education sector. بعدين يعني he's one of the people who is interested in not just building companies, لكن to help startups be accelerated. He supported like 160 startups across not Africa only, but also the Middle East. برضو he also built a company which is called Archive Art, which is supporting the African art gallery. And it's an artist incubator, and has supported like لحد هسه almost 90 African artists. وكده. فأنا ما عايزة أتكلم كتير, عايزة to bring the mic one more time لمستر خليل عشان to introduce himself. I will close the screen now عشان عايزين نركز مع مستر خليل, and then the session will be started. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Khalil, for having you today, and now the mic and the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Before we start, thank you for the introduction, but we can drop the Mr. On Mr. Khalil. I don't want to feel more old than my age. I already seem old, not necessarily on paper, but let's keep it with Khalil. I think it would be way easier. هو أنا just for introduction, أنا تونسي, عاشرت السودانيين اللي 4 سنين أكثر في رواندا. Shout out to Muayyad who invited me and introduced me to you guys. We have been working together on several other projects. But basically, I think it's easier for me to speak in English with you. خاطر كانش نحكي التونسي نتاعي ما تنجموش تفهموني. That's an example of it, how it can happen. But I still can نحكي سوداني ونهدر سوداني.
Okay, just one quick question قبل ما نبدأ الدسكشن حقنا والانترفيو كده. عايزة أسألك إنه أنت I think you understand عربي كويس شديد. I will try to conduct and have this يعني session كلها بboth عربي وإنجليزي عشان يعني الaudience وكده, وأنت feel free to answer in all the languages you want. Yes.
تمام.
Perfect. I think now we could start. I will be starting saying Khalil, not Mr. Khalil. Khalil, زي ما قلنا إنه you are engineer, having 2 degrees in engineering, 7 years in education sector, but currently now you are living an entrepreneurship world, صح؟ وإنه with companies you build and the one you help. الaudience هنا حقنا هم engineers, mostly still in university أو يعني recent graduates وكده. فإحنا عايزين هدف السيشن دي عايزين mostly help them turn their student projects into startups ولا ideas حقتهم. That's why we're here, especially in the track حق Ideathon, صح؟ The question is here إنه entrepreneurship is not only a job title, it's a lifestyle. يعني دايما الناس اللي بتعمل companies and startup بيكون عندهم some personality traits, صح؟ sometimes we could develop these personality traits معانا إذا هي ما موجودة or built on let's say يعني مما إحنا اتولدنا وكده till it became a lifestyle. as you as a person who is currently living this entrepreneurship world, why did you change your life, especially إنه يعني after reading through your posts, mediums and these things, I discovered that إنه it's some sort of a legacy in your family that إنه انتوا بتحبوا to go from a career to another to go for your passion, seek for the stuff that you motivates you the most. So how is entrepreneurship for you? And through all these together, the journey حقت الرحلة حقتك من ال companies that you build in these things. So did you find what you're looking for?
Well, that's a very hard question to find what you are looking for in life. If life it was that easy, it will not have a session, I guess. But I think we still have questions and we still debate different things. But just to be quite clear, I think some of it is part of my genes. By the end of the day, if you are Tunisian, one of the things that most of the Tunisian that you will see in the world, usually we are the upper middle class of the society. We want to work, but we don't work that much. That's one. Two, it's also about, okay, upper middle class, انت خير من الناس وأقل من الناس. That's a very good position in
Yes,
life.
something in
But
the medium كده.
exactly. But you are still in the upper middle class. You still can enjoy a bit of luxury of what the other are doing. And then usually it stops there. You move to Europe and then that's it. That was not kind of what life planned for me or what I planned for myself by the end of the day. I was supposed to be studying to study in pharmacy. My mother is a pharmacist. أمي صيدلانية عندها محل صيدلية. And I had a big debate with my father and my parents around why should you continue pursuing pharmacy or not. And I did 2 years. I was trying my best to fail, but with achievement to some extent. What does that mean? It means that نحن عنا 10/20 المعدل. أنا جبت 9.5.
It's still can you consider it smart, let's say. But then yeah, إنه to be يعني obliged or like let's say إنه to want to study pharmacy and then switch to engineering and then do entrepreneurship where then building companies. Honestly, it's a very huge shift. يعني أنا واحدة من الناس بحب أنطط من مكان لمكان, let's say, until I like have my زي ما بقول spark in each one. فI could feel you في الحاجة دي شديد شديد. How did you convince your family, honestly? Was it easy?
I think it was life circumstances that convinced them. At some point, they said, "Okay, this guy is gonna lose his life." At some point, on one side, but on the other side, it was also for them that they were seeing, okay, this guy is still studying pharmacy a bit, but most of the time he's doing other things. أنا وقت اللي أنا كنت في I was studying pharmacy, I was doing an internship in a co-working space, communication. I was later organizing one of the big, I don't know if you know Health Prize, but it was one of the competition of entrepreneurship. I was organizing them to for almost 2,000 students. And then one of the things that I did, I started a company. I'm not sure if I can call it company now, but it's more of an initiative to teach high schoolers entrepreneurship. I think those were my 18, 19. And at some point, I was trying to move to another sector, or move to another education. Business was not very interesting, even though I'm kind of good in business. But then the problem of business education, I would say, is it does not give you anything. So I still believe to some extent in the importance of diploma. So this is why I switched to engineering. Engineering, it's something that I'm fond of: problem solving, math, physics, electrical, etc. I was valedictorian in my school while still doing different other things.
Yes.
And then I did my master in CMU, which in itself is still a bit weird for Tunisians to say that you are, because my master in CMU was in CMU Rwanda, CMU Africa. So the campus was in Rwanda. So to come to my parents and say to them, hey, I'm going to Rwanda now. I'm moving to Rwanda. Okay, why? Why not Germany? Why not France? But then saying to them, oh, yeah, so it's a whole other country. I guess in Rwanda there is 15 Tunisians. If you put them in a WhatsApp group, you don't need to, you don't move beyond the limits.
Okay. Honestly this is very interesting. لكن الحاجة اللي انت بتقول في كلامك ده it made me think about انه اصلا an entrepreneur دايما بيكون يعني الايديا ذاته في حد ذاتها لما يكون عايز to develop it honestly بيكون ما اسهل حاجة. ف it literally يعني resembles الحالة اللي انت كنت فيها مثلا doing pharmacy, going into another things, and then doing multiple initiatives, starting to build companies and these things. فالزول اللي عايز يعمل to build a business or something or to make an idea live or to solve a problem برضو بحس انه الطريق لها برضو بيكون ما اسهل حاجة. نفس الحاجة there is people كتير بيقول لك انه who is like بيقول لك والله الفكرة حقتك دي يس ما أنجح حاجة ما كده يعني they try to constrain it, they try to bound it, they try to do this. honestly it gave me a very similar context للentrepreneurship في الحاجة دي. this made me to think about another question إنه during this journey بما إنه أصلا you did engineering which is زي ما قلنا إنه most of our audience here is doing engineers either students still ولا recent graduates. بحس إنه عموما أي زول يعني she or he studied engineer بيكون عنده الحس زي ما بقولوا بتاع إنه being a problem solver دي حاجة it's a very huge step عشان أنا أصلاً to build something. لأنه إذا أنا ما قدرت to analyze, to investigate and know exactly what is the problems, I can never come up with ideas and make solutions. صح؟ this made me think of إنه during this journey, through this life journey let's say, because like it was multiple phases زي ما قلت يعني اتنقلت من مراحل كثيرة لحد ما you ended up with إنه to do masters at CMU University at Rwanda, which is a very prestigious university honestly for studying. فإنه during this يعني journey إنه you need to learn new things but you have to at the same time unlearn things that you already have in mind. الأفكار بتجي كده يعني في الرحلة دي أنت لما كنت ماشي فيها يا خليل I think إنه كان عندك concepts in your mind كنت عارفة وحاسس إنه this is the rightest of the ways. لكن عندك still حاجات كنت حاسس إنه during this journey you have to unlearn it, you have to add on top it new ones عشان يعني زي ما بقولوا إنه if I could like craft this question in another way, in what do you think our potential founders today need to unlearn before they start learning and to dive into this entrepreneurship world? This is the question.
Cool. Thanks, Ale. Just to be clear on one thing, there is something that is متشعب في ثقافتنا اللي هو الأفكار جميلة ونحب الأفكار. I'm currently here in Egypt with a friend, Tunisian friend, and the moment we entered this house, he started saying, "Oh, maybe he should not done this. هو ليش عمل كده؟ هو الصالون ممكن أنه نقسموها على 2 وممكن أنه يخرج غرفة من كذا." هو الشعب العربي بصفة عامة عنا الأفكار موجودة وديما عنا أفكار. However, with time, what I understood is ideas are cheap. Ideas are super cheap. You can find ideas. Most of it is around execution. Everyone can tell you how great their ideas. Everyone can fall in love with their ideas, and usually this is a serious problem. But then usually it's all around execution. It's mostly around that. I don't want to say execution as in hustling, but more about executing your ideas, what you want to focus on, and what you need to do. And this is where things starts to become, in a way, the blurry line between a good entrepreneur and just an entrepreneur for the sake of being an entrepreneur starts being more clear. Because at some point, I started the company in 2019, which is Archivar. I started it with she's a cousin. We have family relationship, but she's 15 years older than me. She have a PhD in culture and art. And then it's like the gap is far. I'm doing engineering, she's doing culture.
Culture.
I was 20, she was 35 with her second child.
A huge gap.
A huge gap. She lives in she got raised in the capital. For me, I was raised in a small city. So it was a huge gap. And then when we started building this company, I never thought that this company will see the sun. Just to be clear, okay, I'm helping you, but then it's you, it's not me. I'm helping you, I'm doing the business development, blah, 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 all of that. And then now, like just 1 week ago, we did our 50th anniversary. And I've been very
Oh,
clear, and I said this even on my speech was like, I never thought that we would never do the 5 years. But then this is versus another company that I started, which was all of us said, oh yeah, let's start this company. And we were 5 co-founders and let's push and let's see and this whatever. And in less than 1 year, things start going down. So this is to say it's more about I don't believe intelligence comes in multiple ways. So at some point, it's not really intelligence. It depends on what type of intelligence. It can be emotional intelligence. My co-founder for Archivar, the company on art, she's very strong in terms of emotional intelligence, and that's kind of become her like a atu. Atu, I think. I started playing whist now, so most of you can know what atu means. But it becomes your strong power. That's one. Second is I think Naval Ravikant speaks about this, but it's high integrity, high energy, and high intelligence, and those are the three main things. If you want, if ideally you have the three of them. That's one. And in terms of high energy, does not mean that you do too much, but it means that you do the right thing in the right time, which is a very hard question to ask, because by the end of the day you have طاقات مهدورة,
صح.
and you need to understand what are طاقاتك المهدورة and what you are doing, what you are spending them on. But yeah, that's mainly it. Getting back, so ideas are not necessarily the best thing that exists. I think that ideas exist everywhere. I think if you now go to any LLM, it can give you an idea. It's not that hard to find ideas. But and I think I can even debate. Like most people did not when you are using ChatGPT, let's say, or you ask it, how can I start a business? Let's say, how can I start a SaaS? It can give you a process. But then how many people are trying this process? Like, ideally, when you think about it, if we had all those GPTs and all those Geminis giving you process, oh, should I give you the 30-day plan for this? Everyone is getting all those plans, oh, one page there, oh, a timeline or whatever, but then nobody is executing, which means that the real leverage, I guess, it's about execution. It's how much you are executing those ideas and how much you are pushing through, etc. Work is not at some point there is now an area that I'm getting to, which is emotions are important, but they are not that important. I think this is kind of gets back to the rational and the business side, the rational and the creative. I think I was a creative. I tried to be more rational. With time, I discovered that I cannot remove the human from the human decision. It's a bit, it's a paradox, because by the end of the day, you are doing a human decision, even if it's the best rationally, your emotion will still into play. But then getting back, I think again, I'm doing all of this, but then I'm not answering the question of how an engineer can turn into founder, I guess. But I think that's the question, right? But
You
how an
honestly, doing great and like answering it and going around it. And honestly, you gave us like most three pillars, which is integrity, intelligence, and energy. وإذا بقدر أرجعها, it could like relate to why one of the companies that you started succeeded and the other one يعني ممكن نقول succeeded لكن less than the first, ممكن نقول كده.
no,
بس
failed.
I was trying to
Succeed.
be kind to it.
No, don't it's very direct. After
Okay.
2 years, it failed.
فإنه زي ما قلت.
Also, one of the things, just before, one of the things that if you want to go through entrepreneurship or whatever, or at least if you want to, I think, become a better person or whatever, is also similar how to celebrate the small wins, but also to say when things go bad, you should go that thought things got bad. It failed. Fine.
Is
You should
important.
move on.
I
Yeah,
got
when it failed, I opened my phone and I started writing what did I do so my company failed. And
doing
in terms of
reflections
what,
about each thing, which is matters
yeah,
to you.
yeah. And don't try, even when you do this exercise, one of the things that I did was saying, okay, my co-founders were bad. But this is a problem. I'm just putting the blame on other people.
Okay.
So what happened is that one of the things that I said it was, okay, I did the wrong choice in terms of choosing my co-founders. That's one. Okay, what did I do wrong also? Okay, I did not plan correctly, etc., etc. So those are some of the things.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
get. Sorry,
Khalil.
I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. We're enjoying the conversation. Feel free to interrupt at any time. There is one comment in the chat. Mazen Ali قال إنه accepting failure is a step of learning and moving forward, which is honestly, one of the most important thing that you just said and mentioned about being transparent for your own self before the others. عشان الواحد لما يكون عارف إنه why this failed and like try to craft the steps that like cause that failure is important عشان مرة جاية ما كمان أقع في نفس الخطأ يعني one more time. And there is a question from Mustafa Ahmed. I think he is raising hand. Definitely you could يعني you could ask, unmute yourself and ask about it. Mustafa Ahmed. Or if you want to write it in the chat also you could do. And yeah. Before having Mustafa to like unmute his mic and say, I could come back to another thing that you Khalil you just mentioned إنه competition between the creator side and the rational side. Honestly, it's very huge. يعني زي ما بقول الصراع ده حقيقي شديد in our minds, and it happens daily, not just in the company wise and entrepreneurship wise, لكن في كل حاجة. مثلا creator side بيجي يقول إنه يعني إنه I have something interesting, I wanna explore it, I wanna do this without thinking about إنه الراشنال سايد بيجي يفكر إنه ليه، بيسأل الأسئلة المهمة حقت what, why, how, exactly, like trying to craft the things that should be done and the stuff that we should go the mile for. And coming back to this, I think إنه most of the founders are creators. هم بيجيبوا الفكرة وأي حاجة، لكن زي ما قلت إنه in order to be successful in this idea, to be live and to be alive, we have to not just do the hard working but be working smart. لأنه إنه time is important, and especially in the entrepreneurship each time counts. مرات بيكون في حاجات صغيرونة, there is like some tiny failures. If we investigate it earlier, analyze it earlier, we could tackle it, we could solve it. لكن most of the creators mentality, let's say, ما بكون عندهم القصة بتاع الراشوناليتي دي. So الكريترز بيكونوا بس عايزين to build the solution without زي ما قلت إنه يعني إنه to have a solution for a problem a huge thing وهي حاجة. لكن sometimes we have to stick to our objectives, we have to readapt, we have to readjust, we have to learn mostly from experiences and failures and successes, which is the main important. لأنه البزنس life honestly أحسها إنه it's a cycle of multiple iterations. Even a founder بيمر بمراحل كثيرة until they develop a mentality والمايند سيت اللي بتخليه to run a very successful company. صح؟ It doesn't come in one day. أو زول ما بصحى إنه هو just like a founder for something. ومرات زي ما قلت إنه الفكرة اللي هي بتكون ناجحة شديد بتبدأ وبتكون ما بتكون تلاقي السبورت من الناس اللي حولك ولا لاقي يعني الدعم من كل الناس. لكن انت بتكون very focused in this, very focused on the objectives, very focused on the goals, بحيث انه you do not go that straight line and it's not linear at all. لكن بتمر بمطبات, بتمر بحاجات, بتمر بكل حاجة and then you redirect yourself. You learn from the failures, you learn from the successes كمان, عشان المرة الجاية يكون عندك your own house عشان تسهل الحاجات. So talking about this in real life world scenarios, I could ask you a question about إنه a distribution of great founders equal between rationals and creators ولا منو الأكتر هم بيكونوا very successful founders. وبرضه if I could like add another question to it إنه do you think it is worth growing the rational part؟ أنا دايما أكون بسأل how, why, what and why، ولا just like coming with an idea which is يعني زي ما بقول ال first spark of the things that الموتيفيشن الفيديو والحاجات زي كده، ولا I should be rational and grow this side of me. Is it it is better to just be hopeful, a hopeful builder, ولا also worry about the rationality sides of it، ولا be a builder first and then make the rational side grows multiple times يعني through the iterations. What do you think about this?
باهي انا شير سكرين لحظه.
Okay, no worries. Take your time.
شردها هاند زون شويه السيشن.
Okay, yes, now we can see it clearly. I love
هذا
memes.
But this is basically, I think I don't need to explain normal distribution, but
Okay.
basically, this is what is happening. At least what I started noticing, which is okay. On the left side, I think people who are building wealth or people who are happy with their life are either on two parts of the spectrum. Are either not intelligent or very intelligent. يا ذكيين برشا يا مش ذكيين at all. And then there is the people who aren't in the middle. So you have, if you think about someone who is like low IQ and you say to them, okay, to make money, what you need to do is to go and knock 50 doors. What will happen is that by the end of the day, they will go and knock 50 doors. If you ask a person with high IQ, okay, you need to knock 50 doors, what they would do is to try to automate how they can knock 50 doors. That is how they will spend their time. And then you have the people in between who will start knocking the first door, knock on the second door, and say, no, okay, there is nothing that will happen. No need, no need to continue. Oh, and then what should I do? What, etc., etc. And then what happened? Let me. I'm building this on the flow. I'm remembering things, so just give me time. I think I need
No worries, take your time. We are enjoying this.
my whole window for this, but yeah. So what happened is what happens is this. So what happens is this. This is what happens to most of the people who are in the middle. They start with an informed optimism. They say, okay, I have this idea, this will be great. Okay, I'm gonna launch an AI startup, or okay, an AI startups. And then they start learning. They discover that, okay, this is not easy after all. What will happen is that once they reach the informed pessimism, they will start going out. They will leave. And then what happens is that they reach the valley of despair. If they continue, what will happen is that they will get informed optimism and achievement. But then usually what happens is that they will redo the same again. They stop in the valley of despair and they do it again. Okay, now let's see crypto. Now let's see whatever. Now let's see whatever. And they never manage to realize anything. And they continue their life in this kind of pessimism overall, because they never, like always when they start a project, they stop. So this is kind of, it talks about kind of the overthinking process, let's say, and how it should impact. But then getting back to the question about creator and whatever, I think it should be clear what you are creating for. There is two types of creation. You need to watch Jack Conte. He speaks more about this, but then he talks about two things. He talks about creating to publish and creating for pleasure, or creating for ego. When you think about creating for pleasure, what happens is that you are focusing inward. You are not really focusing on solving a problem. You are given to oneself. You are trying to create for your ego, purely for your ego. You will try to, okay, let's make it better. Let's make it this way. You are not really interested in shipping it to customers or users. It's luxurious self-indulgence, and it's more about the fun. But then, if you see work for pleasure, work to publish, uh, it's different. So work to publish is selfless. To some extent, you are building a solution. You might use that solution, but it's for other people. You focus on outward focus. So basically, you think about the user experience of the people. You think about what should be better, even from your position. Even if you are taking yourself as a first user for your own solution, you are still thinking about, okay, what would it be better if I take X? What would be a better experience? And then you think about results, you think about giving back, and you think about contributing to the world. And this is where it's different. Even though you are creating in both cases, it's way different when we think about the creation part. Usually, I would say there is two types of minds that exist, and I think there is a bit of the literature around this, but it's artist slash business mind, which is very similar to the discussion that you showcased, which is basically you have two minds and you are trying to find the balance in between them. For
Exactly.
me, I understood like this year I try to be purely focusing business.
Okay.
Purely. Okay. What are my KPIs? Optimize for money. Okay. Great.
Okay.
So I tried to do that. But then I'm reaching the end of the year. I'm saying no, this is not for me. It's not something that I enjoy. I don't have any difference in making double the income that I make. It's much more about the enjoyment and the fulfilling aspect for me, and how can I contribute for people that I like working with. So this is, in a way, I put the hypothesis. Again, it's an experiment. I put a hypothesis. I try to do the hypothesis. I try to continue in it, and then said, okay, my KPIs are not working. A KPI called fulfillment is way better than a KPI called money.
Okay. Honestly, this is very interesting to be honest, especially like when you spoke about that the differences about the work to publish and work for pleasure. Honestly, this is makes the most of the sense. لأنه يعني إنه to be a founder for something, if you just only go for pleasure, this pleasure might be like temporary and these things. But if you work to publish for a purpose, for a goal, for people to give and also gain at the same time, this might make sense the most of the time. So thank you so much for bringing this يا خليل. Another thing حاجة برضو يعني honestly it made my attention لما جيت اتكلمت عن ال uninformed optimism وكمان ال informed pessimism. فهم في شعرة فريق يعني صغيرونة بتوينهم إنه دايما عشان to build an idea sometimes بجد مفروض yes you have to be very optimistic about the stuff عشان first initial step مهمة عشان to start a business. لكن مرات you have to بجد يعني إنه to be convinced that there is some types of valleys you will go through, there's some types of not happy moments that you will reach in this business or startup. فإنه knowing this, knowing the limit, knowing the weaknesses عشان to improve it next time. Honestly, this is a huge part of being successful. زي ما كان في الchart, I think it was going like ups and downs, and then suddenly after knowing the weaknesses itself for that for that let's say project or something, and then try to strengthen it, نحاول نعمل readapt, نحاول to adjust the ideas, and suddenly boom we have a very sharp increase in the chart, which is honestly similar to what we are facing عموما في الايديas لما الزول كان يكون عايز يعمل project and these things. ف thank you so much for bringing this. بما إنه قلت إنه this year you're trying to be more on the business oriented side, which is honestly I could relate للحالات زي دي إنه yes مرات بنكون يعني ما هو once the idea is live وكده okay we like had this creative side more وكده, لكن مرات بجد we have to focus on the زي ما بقولوا ال money side of the things, because definitely we do not do companies startups for just like things, but also we need a gain وكده.
I think it's all about the balance. Just to be quite clear, it's all about balance on the two sides. Money is still important, but money does not solve all the problems. Money
exactly.
solves only money problems. That's it. It stops there. It cannot solve any other problems. If you have more money now, it will not solve your family issues. You will be bribing them. literally انت
Exactly.
ترشي فيهم في اخر الامر. So it will not solve your relationship with your mom, it will not solve your relationship with your true friends. Otherwise we will become buying people, but then not all people are buyable or they can be bought.
And you will definitely lose كمان your human side of the things لأنه يعني a person should also focus on that عشان يعني زي ما بقولوا from humans to humans a person should also feel the humanity and be included in this. There is a question if like
Just can you park that question just a bit?
okay
Yeah. There is
so
something I think there is something here that most people don't realize, which is we think about the philosophy of money from a pure Western approach, from pure US approach, which is okay, which is fine, but it works for them, not for us. If you see the US, they see freedom as financial freedom. They never discussed about al-hurriya in the sense of al-hurriya. By the end of the day, if you are rich and you need to buy a Bugatti, that does not mean that you are really free. It means that you are trying to fulfill something for the status quo. So just to say, freedom is very seen as financial freedom. So you have that on one side, very focused approach, hustler approach, bring money, okay, enjoy life. That's what you are here for. But then we never studied about what capitalism or what money should mean from a pure Eastern approach. And now when you see, for instance, Samsung is a company, Korean company. كنشوفها what they started doing construction. Samsung, like, yes,
electric devices and the construction yeah
yeah, they
interesting
are do, and they still have construction company. There is still construction company that are doing bids, etc., etc. This exists. If you think about BYD started something else, and then what they moved to is something else. It's like they started, I think, with electrical batteries at some point, and then they moved to cars. Then everyone said they will fail, and they continue doing that. Just to say here is the focus on one thing sometimes is not necessarily the best idea. It's a very American approach and does not necessarily mean that we can apply it to our context slash to our philosophy slash to our region slash to our gene slash to our whatever. It's not necessarily the case that you cannot apply everything for the simple case. There is different startups who try to follow the startup in a way, startup culture that exists in the US. If you think about Sudan, Tunisia, etc. But then what happened is that they failed. But then you have companies that start for a very long time. So that's something that we need to understand in terms of even the difference in terms of money, in terms of entrepreneurship culture, etc. And we cannot apply things that are outside of our philosophies to just our philosophies. You cannot also it's كأنك تاكل pork. It's the same thing. There is no difference. Even if you still eat pork, I tried it one time. It was bad. I did not enjoy it. It's way, it's not from my philosophy. That does not make sense for me. So that's one of the things. So just to understand at some point there are philosophical concepts or let's say applied philosophy. Entrepreneurship is applied philosophy. It's applied research, but then you cannot apply everything to your context. Not because someone from the US raised money from MVP, it means that you can raise. This is why I started. I think we'll move to this, but at some point I started moving more to Eastern philosophy, Miyamoto Musashi, etc., etc. So that's something from where you can bring more and you can understand more about life. The guy resolved Miyamoto Musashi. He resolved overthinking. Uh, he's one of the best samurai. He understood what people should be, etc. And he says like life is like a pursuit of greatness. You need to live in four different aspects. This is very different from the US again, but you need to live in four arcs. First, you are in the way of the warrior. I think all of us here in this call are in the way of the warrior. So you are trying different things, and then this is the first thing. The second thing is the way of the way of artisan, and then it's the way of the craftsman, which means that now the way of the farmer. The farmer, similar to how the farm, like how a farmer works. You plant now, you get the results later on.
The seeds
So
and
that's
harvest later. Yes.
exactly. And then you have, later on, you have the way of the craftsman. So now you are an artist. And through an artist, now you can take something, take this bottle and take your time to build it. And then finally, there is the way of the merchants. So the merchant is the one who sells, buyer.
Yeah. Traits,
Bas-
exactly.
He says that a way of greatness should be you cover all of those aspects.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is not a, you will not find this in the US. If you are, you continue being a warrior for all your life. You never be. This is
doesn't like make sense in our context, the eastern especially والسوداني وكمان الكونتكست السوداني زي ما قلت انه it's a bit very, it's not a bit honest, it's very different than the western culture and these things. وصراحة قلت حاجة مهمة انه in order for idea to be successful, first ال targeted audience مهمين لأنه this idea was be implemented وين في المكان الفلاني this certain مكان. يعني I could never do solutions for problems that never existed here صح؟ يعني and also I can never do and build and do companies that solve certain problems. لكن مثلا المشكلة دي احنا ما عندنا. For example I can never do في السودان مثلا التمبريتشر حق درجة الحرارة شويتين it's a bit it's very high يعني compared to معظم البلدان. ف I can never bring heaters كنتها في السودان. يعني this would be a failure. ف understanding the context of the people and the culture especially and the four aspects that you think honestly انه كمان في الايسترن كلتشر ميدل ايست ولا افريكا احنا عندنا زي ما بقولوا في personality traits في الناس كده. عندنا جزء من الثقافات والعادات والحاجات زي كده it's very important to include في البيزنسز ولا الايدياز حقتنا لانه يعني عشان يحسوا انه ذاته الكلاينتس وكل الناس يحسوا انه الحاجه دي منهم وليهم كمان. honestly this is would يعني would serve as a huge winning thing for the idea itself. وكمان الfour steps that you mentioned about being a warrior and craftsman and also a farmer and after that a merchant لحد ما اجي to sell my idea and showcase it like globally or locally, let's say it do matter a lot لأنه I have to first be in that certain society, understand their problems, be able to يعني أفهم هم الحياة حقتهم عاملة كيف عشان بعدين at the end of this cycle be a merchant and trade and sell my ideas to them. لكن في نفس الوقت أكون very goal oriented إنه أنا to give them something that they really need and not just give them something that I want to give them without the context that they do need it. وزي ما بيقولوا there is a saying or even saying that necessity is the mother of invention أو الحاجة أم الاختراع. ف understanding the context honestly is a very important يعني thing that you just covered, Mr. Khalil. Oh, Khalil. Let's say it one more time. I could ask you about بما إنه إحنا جينا للmerchant أو the one who sell the ideas and showcase it. There is a comment here in the chat saying, okay. Sophia said that ideas that tackle real problems are the ones that naturally attract supporters and believers, to be honest. And I could resonate to this. I could really resonate to this. Also, we have two questions, one related to MVPs and POC. We would have this next, Ya Akram. And also we can you give us some advice on how someone can deal with effective ideas that are difficult to implement, leading to abandon due to a lack of sufficient information? Honestly, I think we would first take this question, يا خليل, if you never mind, وبعدين حنرجع للquestion بتاع MVPs و POC يعني later on this. Then we have a dedicated part for this. Yeah. Coming to Khalid question, can you give us some advice on how someone can deal with effective ideas that are difficult to implement, leading to abandon due to a lack of sufficient information? يعني the problem is we having like insufficient information or the idea itself is very hard. How we can like make such ideas alive? If we
wait, the challenge is what? Is it difficult to implement or lack of sufficient information? There are
Both of
two
them,
challenges.
honestly, based on the context that Qut is saying,
Okay.
abundance of, and also that like insufficient information, and also the difficulty of the problem itself.
Okay. Lack of, okay, I will treat one challenge by one challenge.
Okay.
Lack of sufficient information. I think if you lack sufficient information, it's better to test something and then try from there. And then your goal would be to collect more information. I guess very easy solution to very, it's an easy problem to some extent.
Similar to reinforcement learning, like we face the environment, we do action,
Exactly.
we collect rewards and penalties, and then we iterate.
I think that's basic human intelligence. You should say reinforcement learning is similar to
Yeah,
human intelligence, not the other way around.
it feels
But
like
yeah,
it's hard to be programmed.
but
Okay.
yeah, but it's similar to how a baby walks. You make the first steps, you tahboom, and then you start walking. I think that's the
Let's come
basic.
to our origins.
And then the lack of difficult, I think difficult implementation. I think there are always good ideas with difficult implementation. Uh, السلام في السودان. It's a good idea with difficult implementation.
صح.
Okay. Uh,
Simple and true.
yeah, I'm just saying it's a good thing, it's a good solution, but then it's difficult to implement. And then basically, I like this, but okay, I might, I sometimes get criticized for it. But life is a single player game, and by the end of the day, what do you want to focus on? At least that makes you fulfilled in the short term and in the long term. If they are difficult to implement, what are they make? What is making them difficult to implement? If it's a society, but then they are difficult to implement because of society, that's a whole other issue. If they are difficult to implement with time, I think you should be patient, as simple as it is. So that's one of the things. It depends what do we mean by difficult to implement. If it's about money, that's a whole other issue. So you need to find a way so you can reach
Investors,
a stage where,
supporters.
yeah, it's not a very easy process, especially for us, Tunisians, Sudanese, Africans, Middle Eastern, etc. But that's one of the things. I think that's. I think that I try to answer the question. In terms of ideas that tackle real problems are the ones that naturally attract supporters and believers. I think this is purely an engineer who wrote this. Okay, why I'm saying this? Ideas that tackle real problems are the one that naturally, like the fact that is naturally attracts is a bit of logical fallacy. It does not naturally attract. That's the one thing about it. A good product with like an average product with good marketing is better than a good product with average marketing. Just to be
صح.
quite clear.
Very
So
smart
so
also.
so, so it means that attract like having a real problem does not necessarily attract supporters and believers. You see the logical fallacy a bit there.
Yes.
So at some point, okay, this is a bit of an interjection, but there is certainly, if we think about growth, there is product-led growth. If you think about Instagram, sending reels to your friend, that's a product feature, but it's a growth feature. Yes, that's where we can debate. But then ideas that tackle real problems are not the one that naturally attract supporters. ChatGPT, Instagram are an example of how can a predative algorithm can make you hooked.
صح.
They are not tackling real problems. They are creating a problem.
Exactly, by like having fixed algorithms that like made us be exposed to some certain types of videos and these things, which is بترجعني لحاجة honestly related كان the very last philosophy that you just said about the merchant and how we sell the ideas. والحاجة دي بترجعنا لأنه بما إنه في الideathon track ده إنه we are asking the founders to pitch their ideas as part of the judging. فإنه قلت قبل شوية a very important concept to be honest, which is إنه a very good idea and project, unless it was like marketed in the good way, هي ما حتنجح شديد. أو يعني إنه sometimes you have to focus on this side of the stuff. صح. So some of our applicants here like have never pitched before and do not really know what to do, what to include at these presentations or pitch decks. So what story do you need to tell in such presentations? For example, speaking about the storytelling aspect of it, what people, let's say judges, investors, or clients, are looking for in these pitch decks for in order for it to be very successful. فممكن تقول لنا يعني your experience about this, about إنه how to be able to sell an idea, what to focus, and also like بما إنه أصلا إنه most of the things here إنه is technical, AI enabled or machine learning related صح؟ فإنه investors sometimes there is only business oriented, and for example you for yourself, you're like from engineering background and you understand the technical stuff, لكن not most of the engineers, not most of the investors, they like are so into the technical stuff. So how we could balance and how we can clearly explain without simply explaining the ideas for non-technicals about the technical stuffs, and how we could sound very professional in our technical stuff without being so exaggerating the technicals. فاهمني يعني this is the question, to be honest. What you could say about this?
Okay, so in few minutes we will have a bit of a brief session about pitching. I just pulled the content now, but before
Okay.
I need 2
That's
minutes and then I'm coming back. I will have 2 minutes. Put an ad now.
okay. Okay, I will do a quick one. Just a minute. Let me fix it. Just a minute. I will share my screen now يا جماعة. لما تشوفوها just وروني. I just made it right now. I will do a timer. Where is it? هو هنا. Let's do it like 3 minutes. Okay. By the way, في المسافة دي يا جماعة you could like drop in your questions. في still questions like we're going to answer وكده. وإذا عندكم any questions برضو you could drop it in here. Feel free to ask anything, especially for the Ideathon track. Yeah. وبرضو we hope that you're يعني currently enjoying the session. استفدتوا حاجات كثيرة. Honestly, the amount of informative information لحد هسي, and honestly I cannot process my mind. يعني I'm still receiving very information. فيعني إن شاء الله برضو تكونوا مستمتعين بالحاجات, مبسوطين. Yes. And definitely you started to build on your own ideas to be submitted وكده.
عدنا.
Oh, this was very quick. It's even like 1 minute. Okay, let me stop share my screen. Okay, the stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is more of some content that I do for entrepreneurs. But then I will focus on what's important and what is not important. So, okay, pitch is selling. By the end of the day, what you are doing is you are selling. What you need to think about is who's your audience. مثلا في example بتاع Ideathon, they are not investors. So what you need to think about is who are they really truly listening to you. If they are professors, okay, you focus on the academic side. If they are working in MTN, you focus on how can that solve major issues for telco companies. How can you use the language basically? Then you have what do you offer, which is your idea, what you have been working on for the last 48 hours. Hackathons, just to be quite clear, hackathons are a bit different in terms of what you are pitching, because by the end of the day you do not care about the product. In reality, I'm just saying, if you want to win hackathons, you should not care about the product. If you do a great pitch, it's fine. And most probably you are in competition, so you see all the other people what they are doing and you adjust. So let's say I was pitching before in hackathon. What I would do is like I push people. I try to be, if there are 4 people who are pitching, 4 teams, I'll try to be number 3. Or if there are 9, I will be try to be number 7. The goal of it is basically to be able to see the others, adjust your pitch, and then based on that, change your pitch, create the difference, and then the last one, they are still very hyped after with your pitch. They will not see the last one; they will remember you. So usually, I've tried to be the last on purpose, so people remember me, and not be the last because they will be bored. Be just before because they are excited. So you see, like it's basically what I try to do is basically analyze
Yes.
the behavior of the people. And it's
Manipulation strategy, let's call this.
we call it audience understanding.
Okay. This terminology
It
is very
depends.
positive than mine. Yeah.
Like I'm good
Okay.
at pitch. I can play with the words,
Honestly, now
and
you just
then
start using the right words instead of mine, which is like yours make the sense. Yes, understanding the audience, which is يعني يا جماعة Khalil now is honestly giving you live examples. So let's take notes كلنا.
oh, great. And then what do you want from them? Ideally, for your case, those are like questions that you ask before any pitch. Like if you go to a pitch, what you should ask: who is your audience? What do you offer exactly? What do you want from them? What do you want from them? You want them to make you win. You want from them. You want from them to ask you questions that you know the answers for. Also, you want that from them. You don't want questions that you don't know how to answer. So ideally, if you can also, and this is something I did before, if you can create strategically gaps in your pitch, strategic gaps to the point that they start looking for those gaps. So you give them those gaps, like you say to them, okay, this is the gap, use this gap. But then you know how to answer that gap, so it's fine. So you seem confident about answering the questions. So this is, again, audience understanding. And then
Okay. Misunderstanding. I do agree.
but again,
You
I'm,
already.
I'm giving this to everyone. I don't know how many people of you, how many of you will be pitching last. Now the game is gonna be rigged. Now people will try to be last, but then people will start. The best one will become the first. So it's kind of like I'm playing. I'm giving you the strategies. Not all of them you can implement, but all of them is about understanding the people. And then the call to action. The call to action is usually the ask. What do you ask from the jury? In your case, you are asking them to give you the price. This is basic. But then if you are with clients, you are asking them to sign with you the contract or to close with you the deal. If you are with an investor, you are asking them for money. If you are with a partner or a mentor, you are asking them for advice. So it can be genuine. You can do on this ideathon and you believe it can be a company and it can scale as a company. You don't care about the competition. And your ask is, I want advisory for the next 6 months. I want you to help me know how to scale my business. Give me a call every 2 weeks and let's discuss and give me a recommendation. That's also an ask. I had people who I asked them about my startup this way. I was asking them clearly for advisory. We will implement and then tell me if what we are doing is good or not. So this is an example. But then basically the goal of a pitch is to convince people to buy into 3 things: your product, your company, and yourself in a very short period of time. That's kind of the goal of any pitch that exists. Your company might create an artist. I did this for artists. I teach artists even how to pitch themselves. And in terms of artists, the product of an artist is an artwork. The company is his name, Khalil Liouane, artist, and then they are buying into the artist journey. So that's just kind of it. By the end of the day, if they don't know you, if you are talking about your ideathon and then you are not presenting yourself and you are not giving value to yourself and you are not sharing how did you reach this problem and why it's interesting to solve, etc., people will not care. In a world where everything is very impersonal, by ChatGPT, by all the advice that you find on the web, the more that you give context to people and the more that you give them how did you reach those things and the more they talk about your journey, the more they are convinced. If I did not come today, I did not start tell you I studied pharmacy, I did this, I did that, I failed in this, I succeeded in this, most probably will not trust me. By the end of the day, this if you see this, I can give you this content, the slides, but then it will not make sense without me saying this to you and giving you funny examples of how I do this. So this is very important. It's by the end of the day, you need to put the human in you in this. So basically, a holistic view of the pitch would be the problem or opportunity. So it's the what, the solution is the so what, and the benefits. Now what? This is basically it. Whatever the pitch, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour discussion, it still resolves into this holistic view. Then the rest is more about the structure, what you should focus on. Most of it is focused on founders. So this is not related directly. Probably this part would be a bit interesting for you. So there is pitch deck templates that you can find on SlideBeam. Pitch deck Hunt, you can find pitch decks, base templates, pitch deck. All of them are like resources. You can find also demo days that are existing online of different founders. For instance, some of the examples that I use is Flat Six Labs. I worked with them before, and they have most of the pictures of their companies on the web. You can like go directly write. I don't know. An example of this can be. I'm just gonna write Flat Six Labs, and they have, and it's great because the good thing about let's put Flat Six here. Flat Six Labs demo day. Those are like companies. Flat Six Labs have like seven different offices across the MENA region. So they are in UAE, Tunis, Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, etc. So one of the things that you are seeing is basically this is quality content that you can use. So you can see pictures of the people. What are they saying exactly? What did they do, etc. This is not someone giving you a masterclass. This is a live use case that you can inspire from. And then this is it. Those are I think I trust you with all AI generated tools. Canva is still one of the tools. Again, this is for founder, not necessarily they are very technical. Video to GIF is great because it plugs a GIF inside your slides. If you see, like, it's better than clicking a video.
Okay.
And then yeah, that's mostly it. But then Loom is great because you can record yourself. But those are some examples. I know that I'm getting a bit technical here, but getting back to the question also of what are the main aspects that you need to pitch. I gave you the techniques of how can you, whatever the context, what should you do to pitch, understanding your audience, understanding your offer, understanding what do you need exactly from them, and doing your call to action. That's any pitch should have that. Whatever the design, whatever the real thing, by the end of the day, you need to focus on that. Design is great if we think about Ideathon because people will be trying to see what exists in front of them. There is even a debate at some point a few years ago that was saying there is no need for MVPs. What we need is MAP. It's like minimum viable product. We don't need minimum viable product. We need minimum awesome product.
Okay.
MAP.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that
Yeah.
so it's still great in terms of design. You still can see it, etc. So that's also important. It plays a role in all competition. Whatever how much you are technical, it's still like those are basic human needs. A human still does not want necessarily something functional. It wants something nice. You still can eat bread every day, bread and banana and apple, but you don't do it. You still eat feta or mlokhaya or whatever you eat. So I think there is a reason why it's happening.
Yeah. Okay. So honestly, يعني, this was very fruitful and this was literally answering most of the question. Honestly, all of it. Thank you so much for this. But I think إنه أصلا إحنا we are coming to an end for this session. يعني ما شاء الله تبارك الرحمن, the information was like literally يعني كثير شديد. I think إنه you guys all استفادوا. Even myself, honestly, I was like fascinated by these things. And the most importantly اللي عايزة أقول عليكم إنه يعني for the pitch deck we have to focus زي ما قال مستر خليل في كم حاجة إنه we have to know who is the judges for this ideathon. Use the languages عشان زي ما بقولوا إنه when we are familiarizing ourselves with the context of the people who's going to ask ourselves questions كده بنكون مرتاحين شويتين في الأشياء. And I could like remember one example that honestly I like once saw this video about the girl who like she do not have experience yet in anything, but she still like excelled all the interviews because like she pretended there is some Discord channel that she spent doing multiple interviews there. And in that certain Discord she was like a person was supposed to write there how many years of experience that person have, and then you will be matched with someone who is similar in experience to yourself, but then you will both have some kind of interviews. But the thing is that she didn't have any experience, but she faked that she had like 7 years or 8 years of experience in that certain field. كان الفيلد it was a tech company. ف damn it, she just wrote that, and then she was matched with someone who was like yeah, honestly I remember that she said that she has 15 years experience in tech companies and doing software as a service. She said this, but then she was matched with someone like way older than her. She was doing interview معاه, لكن the thing she was smart enough انه she was supposed to interview him, and وهي كمان she was supposed to be interviewed by him. She made him start first, take notes of all the words that he is using and like in interviewing her وكده, and she took notice about all these words. وبعدين لما she was interviewed she used the same words, and then she sound more professional and she sound naturally professional in that because she used the context, she used the languages, which was honestly very inspiring for me. Thank you so much for bringing this. حاجة تانية زي ما قال عليكم خليل, I want to sometimes you have to anchor the strategic gaps and you have to like make it visible for these investor or judges عشان بعدينك انتوا you have the opportunity of انكم تجاوبوا زي ما قال على انه you يعني تديهم الفرصة على انه يسألوكم back وانه تكونوا confident about answering these questions, which is honestly important. And I see it's very smart. A person could leverage this, a person could put the gaps and then be able to يعني answer it back. Thank you so much for this. And if we want to conclude this, what is the last advice يا خليل you want to يعني say to the audience? Which stuff?
About what exactly?
Any stuff about like the ideathon, إنه how we seek for a very valid problem itself, how we could, if I could like frame it إنه how we make sure that our problem is real and validated and not just interesting, like how we find this specific point. And also if I could like add another final question to it, إنه what the thing the teams that should do tonight after this session directly to improve their ability to pitch in a very great يعني pitch deck or like presentation. Like,
Okay, I will start by the second question. I think if you by building a pitch you are building a certain narrative. Just to be quite clear, if you are building a pitch, you are guiding people through a journey, and you are giving them bit by bit some parts of the information. So it's by the end of the day, you need to think about the user experience of your presentation. What you are giving this person, and how are you bringing them from point A to point B. Point A being hello, how are you, marhaba, assalamu alaikum, to point B being okay, help me win this ideathon. And this is not only about ideathon. This is also works for anything. If you go to your mom and are trying to ask for a certain thing, one of the things that you should do is basically build a certain narrative sometimes, especially when you are a kid. So, I need the laptop because I will be studying, blah, 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 and then you are playing with it. We all did that. So by the end of the day, you are trying to find a way to pitch and to create. Oh, I'm using the phone to connect with my friends because when you pass by my house, when you pass by the school, you need to call me and I need to answer. Oh,
Okay.
I need it, so people will send me pictures. All of it. So it's very similar by the end of the day.
We
Pitch
need
is
to
just
have it for group study. Yeah, all these
yeah.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, I had a friend who was saying always like entrepreneurial coach. So he was saying life is pitch, life is a pitch. So it's by the end of the day, like, you are pitching in your life. So that's one. I think that's a very important thing in terms of ideathon. I think good luck for you guys. This is I hope what you got is beyond the ideathon. I'm not sure if I give this session and then what you remember is for the ideathon. There will be a bit of
no,
problems.
trust me, you gave a very one, and it was well delivered. Trust me.
Great. The other point that I want to pass on is basically, I think everyone now is interested to be a founder, build a startup, blah blah blah. I'm not necessarily the best fan of this, even though I'm the entrepreneurial guy. I would say it's better to build a stay up rather than a startup. Like a company that stays up is much more interesting than launching just a company and then launching another company, etc. And you should treat yourself in that way. If you want to be a founder, it does not necessarily mean that you build a product. Uh, I think that was one of the claims that I had even exchanged with the team. It does not necessarily mean that you need to found a product. You can still found you can still found an AI agency. Okay, fine. Nobody cares. You still want to have a restaurant. You still want to have all those different things. But by the end of the day, what you need to focus on is what makes me fulfilled. I think that's the most important things. If you want to be a founder and then you are convinced by it, but then you are not fulfilled,
It doesn't make
your
sense.
li-
It
your
doesn't.
life would be a hell. Why? Like do things that really are interesting for you. I'm not saying that this is easy.
Mhm.
I'm still unlearning too much. Getting back to the first question, but I'm still unlearning too much of what I'm doing today. I'm still trying to unlearn what are the different things that I've been thinking that they usually seem to make sense, but they don't make sense. Like for instance, just out of habit, I think all of you know تشيز مثلثات لافاش
Yes.
كيري ولا كيري ولا بريزيدون. Like I've been raised and my mom always I was even talking with a friend about this and I was raised like oh two max one max. But then I discovered that there is no problem in eating three in a day. Oh, one egg, two eggs. But then we I need to unlearn that. This is a very basic skill that I need to unlearn. Imagine how much there is that you need to unlearn from your family, from your culture, from your education, because also education, thinking about life as assignments, that deadlines. That's not really healthy. That's not how life works. Life does not work that way. It's less stressful. So it's at some point you need to find a certain balance and then saying, okay, this is part of there is something that I'm gonna do. It's still bad, but I don't want to unlearn. It's part of me. That's your core. But then you still need to unlearn. That's very important. And then don't try to pursue being a founder or being entrepreneurial or whatever just for the sake of doing it for your own sake. Try to ask yourself, what does success look to you? What do you want to do in your life? Don't okay, we get too much peer pressure sometimes so that we lose ourselves,
Mhm.
especially in our society is very communal, not
The
individualistic,
peer
etc.
pressure and everything. Exactly. Yeah.
And then at some point, your family will say, "Oh, when are you marrying? Oh, what are you doing? What's next? Master, PhD?" And then you are not necessarily you are not necessarily convinced. You are just doing it for the sake of doing it. So at some point, you need to define what success means to you, and you need to do things for your own for your own self. Because at the end of the day, you are living your life. You are not
Exactly.
living.
And you're living in it once. يعني you only live once,
Yeah,
which is honestly, it turned into a live lesson.
yeah, but this is not. عش لحياتك كأنك تعيش أبدا وعش لآخرتك كأنك تموت
And
غدا. You need
yes,
also to find the balance.
exactly.
Okay, we move to the self-help part of the session. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, but honestly, it was very interesting, this one. But yeah, it made me back into the word that being an entrepreneur is like choosing the lifestyle to be an entrepreneur, which is, it makes sense, honestly, because you like now concluded all these things. And no, entrepreneurship is not just a job or something, it's a lifestyle that a person choose, that a person seek for their own, like pleasure seeks for own, like their own success in these things, which is honestly very important, to be honest. And then the most thing that in the journey of and learning things, to learn new things, we should not lose ourselves and still keep the human part of ourselves, and keep that parts that make us unique, makes us, yani, because if I like went and go imitating, dashing everyone, copying their startups, their ideas, nothing would be unique about my ideas. I could still come up with an existing idea, but add my own touch. So adding one's touch to a thing is, I think that really matters. So
And this just to be clear, this will start making sense in the next few years. I guess most of it now is trying is getting more obvious. I think in a world where everything is generated by AI,
صح.
most of it will be related to taste and how much you have taste and etc etc. And taste is not something that is given, it's something that is built across time. What is your taste about things, how much you are nerdy about these things, etc. When people, and usually this happens to me, what have I'm working with this entrepreneur, and then, oh, should we see the competition, should we not? I started not seeing the competition anymore at this stage. Uh, Peter Thiel says competition is for losers, which I agree on. But at some point, if you, I'm not in a mindset where I'm starting a business to make money. And this is something that you need to be clear about it. Are you starting this business to make money, or you are starting the business because you want to learn and experiment in life? It's two different mindsets.
Two different analogies, to be honest.
Two
Yeah.
different mindset, and just I think to end this self-help part of Nicola Taleb, uh, Nassim Nicola Taleb talking about George Soros. I want to show you this. I think this will make sense to some extent to what we have been discussing just now. Nassim Nicola Taleb is great. I think if you are an engineer, you should read Nassim Nicola Taleb. He have his book, Anti-Fragile. He have his book Black Swan, and basically one of the things that he discusses, that what is the opposite of fragile? ما هو ضد fragile? أليه?
Fragile, honestly. Solid? Is it solid?
Not necessarily. The glass is solid, but it's fragile.
Oh yeah, صح. Fragile.
So fragile by definition, by method, it's not strength, it's anti-fragile. Fragile, if we think about being a fragile, fragile is that you should handle it with care. That's what fragile is. So something that breaks if you don't handle it with care. So what is the opposite of it would be something that flourishes if it's not handled with care, to some
Okay.
extent. So if you think about it, a glass is fragile, a ball is not fragile. If you keep the ball, if you
If
treat
even
it
you
with care,
yeah, and
you
even
will not be using it.
yes,
You will
you
not be using
break
it.
your leg.
You see, like you need to play with the ball. So to some extent, by the end of the day, you should build a life that is anti-fragile, because life is about randomness. There is a lot of randomness that is happening, and ideally, when randomness happens to your life, when a friend calls you, someone random calls you want them to say to you great news. You don't want to say to you bad news. So this is something I think for engineers it's important to go through Nassim Nicola Taleb work. Fooled by Randomness is something that I like the most. I think one of his books where he discussed about also two parts of his brain, one that is very rational, one that is fooled by randomness, emotional, religion, etc. And it talks in he's a mathematician by background, and he's a trader, so he's rooted in reality. But then this is something where he speaks
George Soros.
about George Soros. George Soros is a very rich guy. He's a rich billionaire, Jewish, and then he will discuss it more here.
And I met George Soros, one of the persons on the planet who impressed me the most. And I realized that George Soros missed his career. He wanted to be a philosopher and a thinker. He ended up making money and spending too much time in it and wrote junk articles and books. It was not what he wanted out of life. He's a Middle European intellectual who would have liked to be remembered as someone who had ideas. I said, I don't want to be that. I want to be someone who produces intellectual work and who happens to have had contact with reality thanks to trading and thanks to Mark and the guys. I still have some contact with reality, but I'm not cut for that. So I realized I don't want to be like Soros, because unlike Buffett and the other people, Soros had an identity crisis. He wants to be known as a philosopher. He said life took control of him. He didn't control life. George Soros, and I met George Soros.
So yeah, so that's
control him. He controls him. Honestly, this is so deep.
So that's the important. I think that's an important aspect. Even though you might look successful and you might are successful, you might by the end of the day feel that you lost some part of it. So this is why I'm saying define things for yourself, because before saying, okay, I want to join this company or whatever, ideally, I think in the article that you shared, I try to create a process. Ideally, you find something that you can spend some time on, and then it pays you, and then that gives you a way of thinking about life and taking time to think about what you want, etc. Because it's not a given. We don't have sugar daddies that allow us to live without problems and to think
We
about
want to be
all
our
the
own
problems.
minds. Yes.
Yeah. So ideally, you want to find something that pays you too much for a little work, let's say, or for work that you do very fast. So that's
Yes,
how the equation should be.
like smart work instead of the hard one, which is
Yeah. True. So yeah, yeah, I think we went all over the place in this session, but I hope بالتونسي نقولوا الصوف يتباع بالرزانة. الصوف get bought for its weight. I hope the session was not long. I hope the content was good.
No, it was really great. Honestly, I enjoyed it myself, and I'm sure 100% that the audience here are like, mashallah, مبسوطين كمان. Just a minute. Let's get back to here. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Khalil, for this session. It was
You
titled
said to
again.
drop the mister, you got back to the old habit, huh?
Honestly, I do forget this a lot. ما عارفة ليه. But yes, thank you, Khalil Liouane, for this session. It was titled From Engineer to Founder. And Rana, go ahead, طوالي. يعني you could speak.
First off, thank you, Khalil, for this informative and enjoyable session. Thank you, Ella, for this great moderating. بس عايزاك تشوف الكومنتس لو ممكن.
Okay. طيب comments. Okay. There is back to the session title From Engineer to Founder. When can someone legitimately call themselves a founder? For example, if I've built and launched a sales product, but it has no customers yet, or only 2 to 3 customers, can I still call myself a founder? Honestly, Abrar Ibrahim, this is a very valid question. When a person would be called a founder and when not, even
I think you should call your founder even before starting to found things. I think it's not necessarily, you are not necessarily chasing status or chasing social acceptance to be a founder. I think it's a definition that you are doing for yourself. When I decided that my title becomes venture builder, this was like 18 months ago. I never worked as a venture builder, in a sense, like it was never written in a contract, I'm a venture builder. Never. It's like something, okay, what am I doing? I'm doing X, Y, Z. I'm helping companies scale, yeah, I'm helping, whatever, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Okay, then I'm a venture builder. And even people don't know what a venture builder is. I just decided. And then somehow, 3 months after I changed that on my kind of positioned myself as a venture builder, 3 months after that, Alan Gilgrey Philanthropy reached out to be reached out to me to work with them as a consultant in venture building. So it's not. I don't think the definition should be what people think of you, but rather what do you think about yourself. Do you believe that you are a founder? Do you believe that you are a tech founder? Okay, fine, call yourself a tech founder. What makes an artist is that they are calling themselves an artist. Like, okay, you are painting, Ale is painting, I'm calling myself an artist. Okay, now I'm an artist. Ale, she's doing it for the hobby, she's not an artist.
Yes. But I'm
So
still an artist.
yeah, so it's all about, I think I think the world have this is not something, this is very intellectual work, and it's very, how can I say this, it's very different from a person to another, and it's a matter of taste, to the point that everyone can call themselves whatever they want to call. If you want to call yourself founder, call yourself a founder. If you want to call yourself a creator, call yourself a creator. I'm now calling myself a writer because I'm writing on Medium, and I like to call myself a writer. Is that fine? Okay. If people are saying I'm not a writer, who cares? I don't care. Fine, I accept it. I'm saying this to myself as this is how I identify myself. So it's also good that you start seeing first that you don't need other people to identify you, as much as you need to say to yourself what you identify yourself with first.
You first like start to put a definition for yourself before others starting to make that definition for you, which is very important.
Yes, this is not the. This is something that you need to unlearn, guys. This is the basic of it, because this is not LinkedIn and you are posting and, oh, I just completed introduction to Python 101. No, that's not life. If you're gonna continue playing that game, you're gonna hustle all your life chasing social acceptance. I'm not saying this. رضاء الناس غاية لا تدرك. I'm not that one. I'm just translated it to English. So
Yes, a person would start to look and be more of a people pleaser than like having their own
exactly.
unique self. So yeah. Another question is here from Mustafa. هو قال how
But then just on this question specifically, because what happened is that different people at some point in Tunisia, and I think probably in Sudan, different people started calling themselves CEOs. At some point in Tunisia, احتياطي العالم نص احتياطي العالم تاع CEOs موجود في تونس. So it's also important that you bring wins, and you also just don't step in identifying, because at some point I can say I'm an artist, but I'm not really making art, and I don't have any art clients. If I'm calling myself writer, I don't have readers. I'm not talking about what I'm writing. So how can I call myself a writer? But then if people are using this, and then this is where the feedback loop, it needs a feedback loop. So identify yourself and find the feedback loop. If the feedback loop does not work, okay, fine, chase your identity again.
it goes that cycle like multiple ones. So
Yeah.
okay. Mustafa Sifdin says how entrepreneurs can manage political and corruption related challenges during business planning, implementation, and day-to-day operation. Honestly, this is a very important question, because like the Ideathon itself is about like how we could do some solution related to Sudanese recovery, or yeah. So what do you think about this? Yeah, Khalil. A very tough one, to be
You want
honest.
my political correct answer, or you want my real answer?
Let's have them both.
My political correct answer is, okay, this is a problem that all the entrepreneurs are facing across the world, especially in our regions, etc., etc. For me now,
Which one is which? Which one are you saying?
this is the political correct one. And it's true, it's political correct, but it does not mean it's wrong. But then I'm not sure I'm the best person to help you handle this. I get mad from the bureaucracy of the bank, let alone political and corruption related challenges. This is not my area, guys. This is not. So now, at least from me, what I started understanding is that those are not the type of problems that I want in my life. with time, I started seeing, okay, how can I incorporate a company outside? How can I find other ways, etc., etc. This is from my pure personal, I would say, finances slash decisions, because at some point, if you are not solving a problem for your community, which is the case for me, not necessarily tied to Tunisia or to Sudan or to Africa or to whatever, it makes more sense that I incorporate outside. If you are within the company, I think within the country, I think you still need. It's a passion that I don't have, that other people have, and this is where different people. If you are working on such a problem, like if I talk about Arshiva, my other co-founder is very rooted. She wants to live in Tunisia. She enjoys being in Tunisia. She whatever. She can handle all of this. For me, that's a price. It's costly for me in terms of effort. I feel it's like draining, etc., etc. So it's different philosophies in life, and sometimes it's good also to find co-founders who help you with this, who are good in this. Like I have a friend, if you say to him, I want to do this X in Tunisia, he will go to all the administration. He will try to understand them. He knows how to play with their ego. He knows, oh, ya besha, كذا, or I need this, you need that. He knows how to play. They are lobbyists by nature. It's also important to know what you are good at. So again, I'm not the best person to answer that question.
You went
But I
around.
found the right people to solve it.
Okay, then you have to have a politician somehow in the team for such, and some lawyers perhaps. But another question. I think we answered Qut Khalid questions. Wait a minute. Abrar says only as a comment, idea without target audience is nothing, which is very valid, to be honest. I think Yusuf asked about the name of the website that you created the meme with. So this is obviously the website that you created the meme with, the distribution meme.
It's a meme generator. It's called imgflip. IMG flip. Let me send it on the chat.
Okay. And
How can AI be designed with limited internet access? I'm not the best person to answer that also.
there is a question also, but like I will give you the time till you like put the website in the chat. The last one, I think you already like answered some of this. Akram says that, can you tell us about building MVPs and POCs, proof of concepts, the why and how, when to know the POC or MVP is successful, when to know it is failing, or time to pivot. And also, I think you mentioned the MAB, so when to know that it is successful and when to know it's failing, so we have to shift and pivot.
I think this question is a bit. I'm not saying it's a bit technical. It depends on which companies are you building. A proof of concept of a restaurant is not a proof of concept of a SaaS. A SaaS in AI is not the same proof of concept as a SaaS in e-commerce. Those are as a website builder. A proof of concept of a like ChatGPT or let's say of an LLM is not the same as the proof of concept of a SaaS, a website builder, etc. So it's totally different. Again, what you need to think about probably is first, who are the users? That's one. How much money do you need? Do you need how many API calls? All of that, blah blah blah. And then how can you reach at least a good number of users? There is one article that probably you need to check here, which is this one. True fans. So there was at some point one of the things that people were saying is that you need true, like 1,000 true fans. And then that theory started getting like a bit different now with time, and they are saying, oh no, you need 100 true fans. And this article is by A16Z. A16Z is the leader investor in Reddit, in Facebook, in Twitch, in all of the different companies that you know. And basically what they are saying is that, okay, like 1,000 true fans, if you have 1,000 true fans and they are giving you $1 per month, that's $1,000 per month. And then here what they are trying to see is basically revenue per fan. So they are saying $100 per year. You need 1,000. So this is basically in terms of creator mentality, what you need to be focusing on. Here, like they are saying, if you want 1,000 true fans, your creator mentality should be start with the product slash creation. If 100 true fans, what you need to focus on is start with the user needs and pain points. And then basically they are discussing here about the example of platforms, etc. But then this is an example of trying to monetize before even building, or even like just in the building stage. Whatever you are building, I think people get. I've been doing this. I've been doing too much academia on MVP, POC, pre-seed, seed, Series A, Series B, all of the. But by the end of the day, what you are caring about is very simple. انت فتحت محل، المحل تحب يدخل لك فلوس. Full stop. That's it. All those terms, all whatever we are saying, I think at some point it's getting too abstract that people are not really following. What you should care about is, okay, build a solution, get money, do what you are enjoy. That's it. Proof of concept, MVP. I'm not saying this because I can debate with you academically, bring all the literature about entrepreneurship that you need. But then you are just losing your time in all those fancy abbreviations. Think about what matters most. What matters most is that you build, that you ship. Okay, let me ship this. If investors want to hear you are pre-seed, say pre-seed. That's it. Life is. I'm trying just to advocate for simplicity. I did this before. I'm giving you the advice that you should not do this.
Honestly, it makes sense, especially in like sometimes there is the better way for an information to be conveyed to others. It's like saying it directly and the very simplest of the ways. So yeah, and it will be even like translated to that person even very well than dragging all the terminologies and this technical stuffs. And yeah, and it would be even more convenient for that person. So and it feels like personalized, humanized. So yeah. So the last question, yeah, Khalil, how people would follow up with you, and if they have like questions, LinkedIn or anything, what do you prefer as like a medium of communication?
I,
So
I shared with you two things on the chat. First, there is my LinkedIn, and then there is my Medium. Medium is where most of my articles are posted, and LinkedIn where I post about random things, and you can follow me there and you send me a request connection there.
okay. Thank you so much. Honestly, guys, don't forget to follow or do a connect in follow in Medium and a connect in LinkedIn. Thank you one more time. Honestly, I did say it multiple times, so thank you, but honestly, I do mean it. The session was really interesting and it was really fruitful, like covering the most aspects that we want to cover and even beyond it. Like we literally went into multiple things, which is like this is how entrepreneurship, it's not just like a one line, it's like non-linear, there's many different disciplines in these things, and it's about a lifestyle at the end of the day. So thank you so much, Khalil, for this. And this is also another thing that I want to conclude with. It's also like copyrighted from Khalil Liouane Medium, which is building wealth without you losing yourself. You could like read the whole article in Medium that he just shared in the chat. But coming back to Khalil, after we flipped the icons, the true ones is here, and the light bulb for the creative, passionate one, Khalil, is here. So Khalil said that time is money, but Khalil honestly this times has another opinion. He said that sure, but money is not time. He tried like to drag the question one last time to be not so into him that like the previous one when he was like showered by Khalil with questions like how, why, and what. But Khalil this time Like he was fast to answer, and he said that he is the smartest. And he said that it's not commutative like square. It's a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square. So this is how a person would be in order to answer and drag the questions into like the way that a person wants. And honestly, it was time is money, yes, but money is not time. As Khalil just said, that we should not have money as our end goal, but as like some stage in our entrepreneurship, in our company, in our startup. And one last thing, guys, I want you all to have like um, three things of these stickers in the chat that you feel resonates to you the most from the stuff that we discussed, me and Khalil, this session, from engineer to from engineer to founder. I would be happy, and Khalil would be happy, and everyone would be happy if you like drag the most three words that you feel resonating to you the most. So, what do you feel? What do you think? A work in progress, keep learning, ask for help, you can do it, solver, be kind, take your time, together we grow, think outside the box, make ideas happen, and try new things. Which ones you feel the most resonating? So I think we're getting like many feedbacks. People like are very happy of the session. So yeah, Abel says that express yourself. Yes, be you. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Who else? What do you think that like it resonates the most for you? Try new things. Ahd, honestly, yes. A person should definitely go out of their comfort zone and try multiple things. Together we grow, ask for help, make ideas happen, says Mustafa. Yes, a work in progress. Honestly, Madden says this, and I could feel it because, like, even an entrepreneurship journey or building company is not just a linear thing, it's like something in progress. So I think we got like multiple responses, and now we literally spend that. And oh, trust the process. We will stop here, but honestly, guys, this session was really ما عايزة أقول تاني كلام, like it was really on top. Thank you so much, Khalil, for having you. We really enjoyed honestly your company, and the audience I think that يعني مبسوطين شديد شديد شديد. Another thing, thank you for your time, because time is money, because like instead of 1 hour we have it now into 2 hours, which is thank you so much for this. And yeah, that's it all from my side. If you have any last thing you want to say, that the mic is yours. And شكرا شديد 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 in عربي برضو. I have to say it one last time. So yeah.
بالتونسي عايشك آلاء. Thank you for the moderation. It was really nice discussing with you. Probably you should change to doing podcasts. But this was an engaging session.
Okay.
But this was an engaging session. Thank you everyone for being here, for hearing us for the last 2 hours, I guess.
Yes.
I hope that I think if you are here by the end of the day, you are enjoying it. So I hope you enjoy it, and see you soon in life, or see you soon in the digital space. I'm currently in Egypt. If you are in Egypt, let's say hi. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, let's give a round of applause, a virtual one, either with hearts, clubs, or like anything for Khalil, and to say bye for him. And I will do it also myself from here, and I would like send the virtual hearts. Okay, why it's not coming? Yes, it's coming. Thank you so much, Khalil, for this session. And I think
Thank you.
I would release you all, audience. Now you could like have a rest, do prayer, like do lunch or whatever. Feel free, and do not forget to um do not forget that there is another session at 5, which is like in 30 minutes, I think. So it's named Building AI Startups in Sudan. So the link is the same, literally the same link for this meeting. So be there. And one more time, thank you, Khalil, for this session. And yeah, bye
See you.
bye.
See you. Have a a great weekend if it's weekend there, and see you soon, guys.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye, guys.